A, a very good morning to all of you, all the viewers. Today we are doing a topic on mathematics, trigonometric identities. Now you know that when we build a building, so you have to lay a strong foundation. When you lay a strong foundation, then the building is strong. So even in mathematics or any other subject, whenever we are doing a topic, we must make the foundation strong. Now, what does a foundation strong in mathematics mean? That means related to the topic you're doing, you must always see what are the things I need, what is my previous knowledge that is required for this topic. Unless you brush up on those topics, you won't be able to go on with the topic. So today what we are doing is, we will do the topic trigonometric identities, but before that, we need to lay a foundation. So let us start off with our topic by first doing our basic concepts. So our lesson on trigonometry consists of two modules. Today we are doing the module 1. Now module 1 consists of what? An introduction, recollection of previous concepts, and introducing basic identities. What do we mean by trigonometry? The word trigonometry is a 16th century Latin derivative from the Greek words for triangle, which came from trigonon, and measure, that is metron. So trigonon and metron, we get the trigonometry. So in trigonometry, we study specific functions of angles. There are 6 specific functions of angles in relation to a right angle triangle. Let us just have a look. Hipparchus, a Greek astronomer, he is considered the founder of trigonometry. Now here I am showing the ratios that we have. We spoke just now about 6 trigonometric ratios. So the 6 trigonometric ratios are, okay, let's just brush this up: sine, cos, cot, cosec, sec, tan. All these 6 ratios build up our concept of trigonometry. The whole foundation lies on this, and now how to deal with this, we are going to learn that. Now, we have said that it deals with triangles. Now, trigonometry deals with all the right angle triangles. Now, the moment right angle triangles we speak about, what comes into your mind? Pythagoras theorem. In a right angle triangle, what does Pythagoras theorem state? That for all right angle triangles, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other 2 sides. Now here I have drawn a triangle ABC. This is AC is your hypotenuse opposite to the right angle, and AB and BC are the other 2 sides. The square on the side AC, that is AC square, is equal to the sum of the squares on the other 2 sides. That is the statement of the theorem. That is square on AB, that is AB square, and square on BC, that is BC square. So the hypotenuse is the longest side, and it is always opposite to the right angle. So there will be no problem with the identifying the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is the side opposite to the right angle. And so what we write? AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. And what is AB and BC? Are the sides containing the right angle. Hence we may write AB square is equal to AC square minus BC square. Now see here, we have already got AC square equals to AB square plus BC square. That means the hypotenuse square is equal to the sum of the squares on the other 2. So if I know the hypotenuse, I know one side, I can always find the other side. So if I want to find out AB from this relation itself, what do we get? AC square minus BC square. And again, if I want BC and I know my AC and AB, then BC square is equal to AC square minus AB square. So hope you have understood. This is the base of the right angle triangle. Now let us recollect some basic trigonometric concepts. Trigonometry deals with the measurement of sides and angles of right angle triangles. So I've got a right angle triangle ABC, and we are saying angle B is the 90 degree, angle C, and with respect to angle C, opposite to angle C, I'm naming this as my perpendicular, BC as the base, and AC as the hypotenuse. We also say BC as the adjacent to the angle we are considering, angle C, adjacent side also. Now AB and BC are perpendicular to one another, so I can say AB is perpendicular to BC or BC is perpendicular to AB. So when I'm saying angle C, I'm taking AB as my perpendicular and the adjacent side as the base. And when we speak about angle A, then I would take BC as the perpendicular and AB as the base. Now let us see the basic ratios that we need to know. Sine of angle C is perpendicular over hypotenuse. So the ratio between the perpendicular and the hypotenuse is defined as sine of an angle. And since I'm taking C here, so that is sine C. And cos of C is base upon hypotenuse. That is BC by AC. And tan of C, tan C, is perpendicular upon base. Now let us something not mathematical, but let us think of this. Now here we are having, say I write here, some people, your teacher must have said also, because this is going on for a long time, have curly brown hair turned permanently black. Permanently, easy to remember the lines. Now how does that help us? Permanently black. Now just look at the first letter. So what is this? S. So sine, every first letter have a look. Sine is perpendicular over hypotenuse, cos is base by hypotenuse, and tan is perpendicular by base. So all our first letter give us the ratios, and this is just a way to remember, nothing to do with mathematics, but we think of different, we relate with other things, how to remember. So sine, we have got perpendicular over hypotenuse, cos base by hypotenuse, and tan is perpendicular by base. So these are the main three ratios. If I know them, then the others become easy. Now let us see the other ratios. Cosec of C. Cosec of C is C hypotenuse upon perpendicular. Now look at your sine, perpendicular over hypotenuse. This is hypotenuse by perpendicular. So cosec of an angle is reciprocal of sine. So 1 upon sine C. Similarly, sec C is 1 upon cos C is equal to hypotenuse by base, the reciprocal of this. And tan of cot C, tan C is perpendicular by base and cot is base by perpendicular. So cot of angle C is the reciprocal of tan. So 1 by tan C. And then one more condition identity we have, tan C is equal to sine C upon cos C. Look at this, sine C is perpendicular over hypotenuse, cos C is base by hypotenuse. If I divide one by the other, what do I get? Perpendicular by base. And what is tan? Perpendicular by base. So I can write tan C also as sine C upon cos C. So these are very important conditions for the whole topic that we are going to do. And cot C is just reciprocal of tan, so that is cos C by sine C. So therefore, every ratio can be expressed in terms of sine and cos. So two main important ratios that we have. So cosec also in terms of sine, sec in terms of cos, cot in terms of tan, which can be expressed as sine and cos. So I hope you have understood the ratios. Now let us go on for. Now we need also the trigonometric ratios of standard angles. Now you will feel, what a huge table, how can we remember it? No need, always try to find your own, experiment it and try to find shortcut methods. Now think of this. Now I'm coming to, say, we are coming to this, sorry. Say this is, I'm writing 0 by 4, 1 by 4, 2 by 4, 3 by 4, and 4 by 4. Easy to remember. What did I do? All denominators 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you put a square root to it. Square root, square root, square root. Each term I'm putting a square root sign. Now what happens? If I'm putting the square root, then we get here, we are getting here what? 0 by 4, that is equal to 0. 1 by 4, square root of 1 is 1, and square root of 4 is what? Half. And 2 by 4, 2 cancels with 4, giving you 2. Square root of 1 is 1, square root of 2 is root 2. And here what am I getting? Square root of 3 is root 3 by 2. And this is equal to 1. So a simple calculation. Now look at these values that we have found. Have a look. Sine 0 is 0. Sine 30 half. Cos sine 45 1 by root 2. Sine 60 root 3 by 2. Sine 90 1. So once you have got your sine with this, you just think of the reverse order. So see, in the reverse order of sine, if I think it's 1 root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, half 0. I've got my cos without even thinking. And what is tan? Divide sine by cos, because I know tan is sine upon cos. So 0 by 1 is what? 0. Half upon root 3 by 2, 2 cancels, we get 1 by root 3. And 1 by root 3 upon 1 by root 2 is equal to 1. And root 3 by 2 upon half root 3. And 1 upon 0 is something undefined. So you can form in the examination hall also, if you just remember 0 by 4, 1 by 4, 2 by 4, 3 by 4, you can just form under one side, you can form your table, keep a table required, wherever you require it, just use it. And sec, cosec, you don't have to remember. Why? Because they are just the reciprocals. So you know your reciprocals, you can write those ratios down. Now here we have the complementary angles, trigonometric ratios of complementary angles. Now here we have sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. Cos 90 minus theta equal. One is the complement of another. You know that complementary angles means the two angles must add up to 90. Now let us quickly have a brush up of this also. Say I'm making a right angle triangle and I'm naming this as theta. This is my right angle, so this is my hypotenuse. Say I'm naming this as A, B, and C. Now let us see what is sine of angle C. Sine of angle C, if we know, we have just now done it, perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So that is equal to AB by AC. Now look at this. Now we know angles of a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So if this is 90, this is theta, this angle has to be 90 minus theta. So they add up to 180. Now let us take the cos of this angle. Now cos of 90 degree. So here remember we have a degree also. 90 degree minus cos of 90 degree minus theta, right, is equal to. Now cos we know is base by hypotenuse. Now we are doing which angle? This angle. Opposite to that is your perpendicular. Adjacent is the base. So base is AB. So I write it as AB upon hypotenuse, which is same AC. Have a look here. Sine of angle C, I got it as AB by AC. Cos of 90 minus theta, or 90 minus theta we said here. So C you can write here, you can write sine theta. Sine theta also, let me write it theta because we are using theta. So sine theta is AB by AC, and cos of 90 minus theta is also AB by AC. So what do we come to? That sine theta is same as cos of 90 minus theta. So in this way, all our other ratios comes in. Next. Now, we come to what do we mean by an identity. So we'll start with a bit of algebraic identity. Now, what is an algebraic identity? An algebraic identity is an equality that holds for any values of its variables. Now, what does it mean? Let us see. Now, you are familiar with this identity. X plus y whole square is equal to x square plus 2xy plus y square. We are saying it's an identity is true for all values of x and y. Now, why should I accept that it is an identity and true for all values of x, y? Let us verify. Is it true? Now, we are taking any value. I put x equal to 3 and y equals to 5. Any value you can take. So, if I'm taking that, I'm first putting on the left hand side. X plus y whole square is equal to 3 by replacing x by 3 plus 5 whole square equals to 8 square equals to 64. Now, let us see the right hand side. X square plus 2xy plus y square. That is equal to 3 square plus 2 into 3 into 5 plus 5 square. Simplifying, what am I getting? Again, 64. So, what do I find? That just putting x equals to 3 and 5, any value we have chosen, it's not that any specific value, it is satisfying. But you may say, by chance it has got verified. Let us see another value. So I take another value, x equals to 7 and y equals to minus 2. So again, we are putting the value, the left hand side first I'm putting, x equals to 7, y equals to minus 2, 7 minus 2 whole square, that is 5 square, equals to 25. Now, we put it in the right hand side, x square plus 2xy plus y square. We put the same value, x equals to 7 and y equals to minus 2. So, when I put the value, what do I get? 49 minus 28 plus 4, it's again coming to 25. So, the two sides are equal for any value of x and y. So, hence the identity holds for any values or the variables x and y. Such a mathematical concept is known as an identity. So, you understood by the word identity. That means if we have an equality and it is true for any value of the variable, then we call it an identity. And here we dealt with algebraic variables, so we term it as an algebraic identity. Now, your next question will come, if that is an identity, why do we call an equation and why not an identity? So, this is a question. An equation is also an equality. So, like we had the identity as equality, we had something on the left hand side, we had something on the right hand side. So, it is an equality again, but unlike an identity, it holds for some specific value or values of the variable. Unlike identity, which we found holds for any values of the variable. So let us verify. I've taken a very simple equation. 3x plus 5 equals to 8. You know how to solve the equation. 3x is equal to 8 minus 5. So therefore, what do I get x as? Equal to 1, because 3x is equal to 3 and dividing we get x equals to 1. Now let us say as we did in identity, I'm choosing any value for x. So I'm taking x equals to 3. Now, if I'm taking x equals to 3, I put on the left-hand side, what did I get? 3x plus 5, 3 into 3 plus 5. The result is 14. But what did I want? 8. So it is not satisfying. So this cannot be an identity. So we call this equality an equation which is true for some specific value or values of the variable. Hence, it is true for only one value of the variable x. So we have understood what is the difference between an identity and an equation. This is a very important concept that you must know when you are doing an identity. Now we say, what is a trigonometric identity? What are trigonometric identities? Trigonometric identities are also equalities that involve trigonometric ratios and are true for every value of the occurring variable where both sides of equality are defined. So, trigonometric identity, there is an equality. So, two sides we have got and it is equal to, and the trigonometric ratios, here what is the difference between the algebraic identity and the trigonometric identity? There we had algebraic variables, here we will have a trigonometric ratio as the variables. Now we are going to test the validity of our trigonometric identities. So we have already learned the table and here I've just brought a few values. Here I've written it down in case you forget. So we are going to do it. Now I've taken this equality, sine square theta equal to 1 minus cos square theta. It is an equality. I've got something on the left hand side. I've got something on the right hand side. Now we are going to verify whether this is an identity or an equation. So I took any value of theta. So I took the theta equals to 30 degree. Now I'm taking first the left hand side, sine square theta. What is that? Sine square 30 degree, because theta is replaced by 30 degree. Now look at our tables. What is sine 30? That is equal to half. So here we've got the value. So I substitute and square up that half square. So I've got here 1/4. Now let us look at the right hand side. 1 minus cos square theta, that is equal to, I'll replace theta by what again? The same value which I chose, 30. So 1 minus cos square 30, that is equal to 1 minus, what is sin cos 30? Let us look at our table. There, we've got it, cos 30. See, look at the value, root 3 upon 2. So I'm putting the value root 3 upon 2. So 1 minus root 3 by 2 whole square, root 3 square is 3, 2 square is 4. So 1 minus 3/4, that is 1/4. See, we have got both the values same. Now, I think I can't be satisfied with just substituting and verifying with one value, and you shouldn't be also. So let us check with another value. So let us take theta equals to now 45 degree. So same equality, I am doing it. So sine square 45, because sine square theta, I am replacing theta by 45. Again, look at your tables. So what do I have my sine 45? Here we have got a value 1 by root 2. So I'm putting 1 by root 2 whole square. So that is equal to half. Now let us see our right hand side. 1 minus cos square theta. So 1 minus, I replace theta by what? By 45 degree. So therefore, 1 minus, again look at your table. What is it equal to? 1 by root 2. So you have your tables ready. So whenever, wherever you want to refer to, you can just look it up. So 1 by root 2 whole square. 1 by root 2 square, root 2 square is 2. So 1 minus half, that is equal to half. So again, with just choosing another value for theta, we find that they are equal. So hence, this trigonometric equality holds for any value of the variable theta taken. Thus, sine square theta equal to 1 minus cos square theta is an identity. So you have seen, so we have verified that this is an identity because it is true for any value of the theta taken. Now, before we go on to the identities, you have done some algebraic identities in earlier class, and you will understand the importance of this. So, following are some of the useful algebraic identity which may be used as tools for solving trigonometric identities. To do some work, we need some tools. So, these algebraic identities is a big tool for our trigonometric identities. Let us just brush up with these identities. Number 1, a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. Must be looking very familiar formula. Next one, a minus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. Next formula, a plus b whole cube. So we had a whole square. Now we have got a plus b whole cube. A cubed plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cubed. A minus b whole cubed is equal to a cubed minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cubed. Now, these were expanding it. Now, we are using that to find the difference of the two square. A square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. This is a method to factorize the difference of squares. A cubed plus b cubed is a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square. And a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. So you are familiar with this, but time to time, write it down somewhere and brush it up, because you read in many topics, and in identities we need a lot. So once you know it, whenever you're using it, you write the formula you're using, and you'll find out that it becomes very easy to remember. You don't have to learn it up. There's nothing called mathematics to learn up. The more you use, the more you practice, it automatically comes. Now, we are going to prove a standard trigonometric identities, and before that, let us see some standard identities. Now, here, like we had some standard algebraic identities. So, the first and foremost trigonometric identity is this sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. Don't think this is another formula you're learning and this is another formula. So, we need to know sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. So, what do you see? Sine square theta, if I want, it is 1 minus. It's just transferring the sides. And what is cos square theta? 1 minus sine square theta. So, my formula which I need to know is sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. Again, it's nothing to memorize. It's just by using that you get it. Next one is sec square theta minus tan square theta equal to 1. So, same thing, one formula we have got here, sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. Now, this is leading from this only. So, sec square theta equals to 1 plus tan square theta, and tan square theta equals to sec square theta minus 1. And here also, it's just replacing the sec formula, sec with cosec and tan by cot. So, look at it, cosec square theta minus cot square theta equals to 1, cosec square theta equals to 1 plus cos square theta, and cot square theta equals to cosec square theta minus 1. So, very simple. We must remember this to do our next part of the identities. Now, set sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1, sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1, cosec square theta minus cot square theta equals to 1. So, 3 standard identities we have got. Now, we are going to prove some standard identities. Let us take this identity, sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. So, again, what I'm saying, we just don't accept it. Let us see whether this is true or not. So, sine square theta plus cos square theta. Now, what is sine theta? By a right angle triangle, this is my theta. It's perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So, perpendicular is AB by AC whole square plus cos theta we know is base by hypotenuse. So, we get it as BC by AC whole square. So therefore, we write down, we have got a common denominator. Denominator AC here, square of it. So AC square, common denominator. So therefore, what do I get? In the numerator, AB square plus BC square. Now, what is AB square plus BC square? By a Pythagoras theorem, nothing but a square on the hypotenuse. So that is AC square. So AC square upon AC square equals to 1. There we have got it. So from the right angle triangle, we have proved that sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. Now next we have sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. Let us see whether this is also true. Verify it. So again we are taking sec square theta minus tan square theta. Sec square theta is equal to hypotenuse by base. So AC by, so we get there AC by BC whole square minus tan is what? Perpendicular by base. So that is AB by BC whole square. So again we have got BC as the common base. Square of it, BC square. So I take the denominator BC square. We get AC square minus AB square. So therefore we get here BC square upon BC square equal to 1. Why BC square? AC square minus AB square. What did I say? If I don't know one side, square on the hypotenuse minus square on one side is equal to the square on the other. So we have got BC square, so equal to 1. Hence sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. So these are two proofs of the standard identities which we have given. So we can prove them also. Now let's go on a little bit of trigonometric ratios and algebra. Trigonometric ratios has no units. Please remember, as you are already familiar that ratios are just numbers. So any of the trigonometric ratio, you don't have an unit. Each trigonometric ratio has an angle associated with it. It cannot stand alone as sine, cos or tan. That has no meaning to the trigonometric ratio. So what do we have? We write sine theta or cos A or tan alpha, whatever the angle is. So with some angle, its existence is there. Each of these trigonometric ratio plays individually the role of an algebraic quantity. So if I say sine theta, sine square theta or sine theta whole square, we can say it is equal to what? A square, suppose. I can put it in this way, any algebraic quantity. Now remember this, what do we actually mean by sine square theta and sine cube theta? Sine cube theta actually means sine theta into sine theta into sine theta. This may be written as sine theta whole cubed. And when we write it as sine cubed theta. Expressions containing trigonometric ratios may be simplified or evaluated like other algebraic expressions. To simplify an expression containing trigonometric ratio, we treat each ratio as a single variable. So as we do the sum, you will understand how do we simplify them. And we may factorize trigonometric expression with the same technique we use for algebraic expression. So we can factorize the trigonometric expression in the same way. Now, we are going to prove a identity. Now, let us say how to prove this identity. We have got 1 minus 2 sine theta plus sine square theta upon 1 minus sine square theta equal to 1 plus sine theta by 1 minus sine theta. So, therefore, what do we do? How to go about? You are seeing something on the left hand side, right hand side. We have to plan. Like, what does it look familiar to? How can we simplify? And always remember what is on the right hand side. What do we have to go? We have to go to 1 plus sine theta by 1 minus sine theta, or vice versa. From here, you may go to this side. So, we are starting with the left hand side. Now, 1 plus 2 sine theta plus sine square theta. So, what are we bringing in? algebraic identity, how its application is there. A plus B whole square is A square plus 2AB plus B square. And what is A square minus B square? Is equal to A plus B into A minus B. We have done it just now. Now let us see how we apply these algebraic identities to our trigonometric identities. Now let us write this term 1 plus 2 into 1 you can think of sine theta plus sine theta whole square, because we have said sine square theta equals to sine theta whole square. And what about the denominator? I can take it as 1 square minus sine theta whole square. Compare now with this. Have a comparison here. So if I say, let us check this and this, what do you get? See, I've got a square plus 2ab plus b square. So 1 square plus 2 into sine theta, or 2 into 1 into sine theta plus sine theta whole square. And look at the denominator. A square minus b square we know is a plus b into a minus b. So something can be done from here also. I can apply. Now let us see how do we apply it. Now, so this one, because we have seen a square plus 2ab is equal to a plus b, vice versa. From here I can go to here, from here I can go to here. So we have got as 1 plus sine theta whole square, because your a square is 1 and your b square is sine theta whole square. So each term is a separate term and can be thought of an algebraic number. And what is a square minus b square? A plus b into a minus b. So how well with just using algebraic identity we have come to this. Now how does that help us? So it's helping us, like what do we get here? Here we are getting 1 plus sine theta whole square. So therefore we are saying that it is 1 plus sine theta whole square. What does that mean? 1 plus sine theta into 1 plus sine theta. 1 plus sine theta. You agree with that, I suppose? So now that means this factor 1 plus sine theta will cancel with one factor. So what am I left with? In the numerator 1 plus sine theta, in the denominator 1 minus sine theta. What is that equal to? What we were looking for, just see. So it is proved that this left hand side is equal to the right hand side. So this is how we go about proving identities. So we are using other concepts to prove the identity. Let us try another one. So here there is another sum, 1 minus sine square theta into sec square theta by 1 plus cot square theta into sine square theta equals to 1. So I have to prove this equal to 1. So we again start with the left hand side. Now we have to think of all the identities, standard identities we have done, and think what we can apply. So the thinking process has to be there. Where do we lead to? Now let us see here. 1 minus sine square theta. Because we know sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. 1 minus sine square theta is equal to cos square theta. And we also know that cosec square theta minus cot square theta equals to 1. Immediately 1 plus cot square theta is equal to, see, we have got 1 plus cot square theta. We can write it as cosec square theta. We have kept sec square theta by sine square theta till now. So we now have to think of what is the next step. So think of the other identities, standard. So cosec theta I know is 1 by sine theta, sec theta is 1 by cos theta. Because why are we planning to change these? Because one is in cos, one is sec, cosec and sine. We can't move on to further simplification. Then only the thought process comes in. How do we go about it? So we have to come to something common. So then how do we get it? So cosec in terms of sine, sec in terms of cos. So therefore, now we write cos square theta, sec square theta is written as 1 by cos square theta. cosec square theta is written as 1 by sine square theta into sine square theta. Now, what happens here? So, we cancel cos square theta and cos square theta here. So, what do we get here? Here, cos square theta cancels off, cos square theta cancels off, sine square theta cancels off. So, cancelling means it comes to 1. Cancelling means 1. 1 upon 1, so that is equal to 1. So, we have proved another identity. Now, let us first do this. Now, here we have some assignment. Please take this assignment down and you try it out yourself the way I've shown it. Verify the following algebraic identities. A plus b whole cubed is equal to a cubed plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cubed. You can put any value of your liking and see whether it is coming true. Same way, a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. And a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. Next question, verify the following standard trigonometric identities. So, those were algebraic identity verification, and this is trigonometric identities verification. Sec square theta equals to 1 plus tan square theta. So, put any value of theta you want to and see whether it is true or not. Next, we have cosec square theta minus cot square theta equals to 1. So, this also you are going to verify. Hope you are taking it down. Now, two simple identities are given here. These two, you please try it out. Prove the following trigonometric identities. Cos square theta plus 1 upon 1 plus cot square theta equal to 1, and 1 plus cos theta minus sine square theta upon sine theta into 1 plus cos theta equal to cot theta. So, please do these sums today itself so that it's fresh in your mind how we worked out. Follow the same method and see whether you are being able to do it. The moment you get it, the confidence level rises, and it's a great joy when you are able to solve a mathematics problem. Now, just looking back, what are the things we did today? Trigonometric ratios, definitions. What do we mean by an identity? Algebraic identity and a trigonometric identity. Then we discussed on the algebraic identities, use of algebraic identities. Then we did the standard trigonometric identities. We have introduced the standard trigonometric identities, and also we have proved the standard trigonometric identities. Then we have solved simple problem on trigonometric identities. Now, be with us for the next session also. This is the module 2. I'm just saying what we are going to cover. Points to remember while proving an identity. So it's very important points which we need to remember when we go on to proving identities. Using basic identities to prove other identities. So we use the standard identities and prove the identities. Different examples on proving identities by inculcating thinking process. How to think or to prove the identity. And proving trigonometric identities by different methods. How a particular sum can be proved in various methods. So we are going to deal with this in the next class. Now we'll go on to the question answer session. So let's see what are the questions you have for me, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So here is our first question. Can we prove the standard identity sec square theta minus tan square theta equal to 1 by using sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. So we have proved already the sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1 by using our right angle triangle. Of course, you can use that same this one to prove it. Now let us see how would you go about it. So suppose I'm taking the left hand side, sec square theta minus tan square theta. So this is my left hand side. We have to show it's equal to 1. So I'm not doing my right angle triangle and trying to prove it. So what do I get here? Equal to 1 upon cos square theta minus sine square theta by cos square theta. Right? We have already done these standard identity values, tan, sine by cos, sec, 1 by cos. So we are using them. Equal to 1 by cos square theta and sine square by cos square. So what is the common denominator? Cos square theta. So I'm getting here 1 minus sine square theta. So therefore, we already know sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So 1 minus sine square theta, if I bring it on the other side, what do I get? Equal to cos square theta. Well, let's write it down. 1 minus sine square theta is cos square theta. So cos square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta. And denominator is already cos square theta. The 2 cancels off. And what are we getting? Equal to 1. So that is proved. Sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. So this standard trigonometric identity, I can use my another standard identity to prove it. So I hope you have understood. Now let us see what is our next question. Yes, this is our next question. Sine to the power of 4 theta plus cos to the power of 4 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta cos square theta. Now what is your question? Can we solve the sum by starting directly from a standard identity instead of starting from left hand side or right hand side? Yes, you may do it if you can figure out how to go about it. Now let us see with this sum. So here we have, let's use a different color, give a little change. So we have, say, we know that sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1. So this you already know. Now what am I doing now to this? Because I've got a sine to the power 4 theta, I need to square it. So I square both the sides. When I do something on the left hand side, I do on the right hand side also. So a plus b whole square. You already know this. Quickly let us brush it up. Whenever you're doing it, just write it down. You won't forget. Then there's no way of missing out or forgetting anything. For any topic, whatever you do, please remember. So sine square theta, square of that is sine to the power 4 theta or sine theta to the power of 4. So I'm writing straight away sine to the power 4 theta plus 2ab. 2ab means what? Here a is sine square theta and b is cos square theta. And then b square. What does b square? That is square of cos square theta. So we get here cos to the power of 4 theta. And 1 square is 1. So therefore we write here, keep an eye on the right hand side what you need and what you need on the left hand side. So I keep my sine to the power 4 theta plus cos to the power of 4 theta equal to, I'm transferring this term on the other side. So we get here 1 minus 2 sine square theta cos square theta. Is that what was asked to prove? There, we have proved it. So bright, nice and big, proved, and feel nice and satisfied that you have been able to do it. So without starting with the left hand side, we can do the sums if we can identify what identity to use. Now let us see what is our next question. So this is our next question, number 3. So we are, what is the question? Given to prove cos square theta into 1 plus tan square theta equal to 1. If we prove it by taking any standard angle, will that be correct? No, dear, it cannot be correct. Why? That will be only verification, because you are choosing one specific value of theta and trying to prove it. But when it comes to a general proof, you have to use the expression and use your other identities to prove it. You cannot just put cos 30 and come to equal to 1 and theta equals to 30 degree and get equal to 1 and say, yes, it is true. No, that is called verification. So we are going to prove it. Let us see how to go about the proof. So cos square theta into 1 plus tan square theta. So we need to prove this. So equal to cos square theta. Now 1 plus tan square theta, you know your formula now, is what? Sec square theta. Now another cos square theta. So another identity we use. Sec is what? 1 by cos. Because sec and cos I can't simplify. So one of them I need to change. So sec I'm replacing as 1 by cos, which is square here. So 1 by cos square theta. So it cancels. And what do I get? 1. That is my right hand side. So again, a big proved. When you write the word proved, it is a mental satisfaction that you have been able to do the sum, right? So you have proved it. Let us see what is our next question. This we have done. Let's go to the next question. Yes, the 5th question we are. Now let us see this question. How do we prove tan square x into 1 plus cot square x equals to 1 by 1 minus sine square x? So this is a identity which we need to prove. So let us, now we have tan square x into 1 plus cot square x we are going to prove this. Always keep your right hand side and keep an eye what we want. Now let us do tan square x, I'm opening it out, the bracket as you do, plus tan square x into cot square x. So that is equal to tan square x plus tan square x into cot is what? Reciprocal of tan. So 1 by tan square x. So therefore we get here tan square x and tan square x cancels. We get this tan square x remaining plus 1. Now we know that 1 plus tan square theta is nothing but sec square theta. So I can write here sec square x. Now still I've got something in the denominator. So this won't lead to it. Now let us change it. Sec square x can be written as 1 by cos square x. But what we have is in terms of sign. Now again I know cos square x is 1 minus sine square x, because sine square x plus cos square x equal to 1. So therefore we put this equal to right hand side. There again proved. So proved. Let us see what are the next question. I hope all of you have understood. Now we'll look into the other questions. Let's see what are the other questions that has come. Okay, this is a question. We haven't got a sum. Are we allowed to prove all identities by using a right angle triangle and applying Pythagoras theorem? Now, see, we proved the standard identities using Pythagoras theorem. So, we can prove the standard identities, but I wouldn't advise you to do the more complex identities by applying Pythagoras theorem. You will have a very complex steps and you will go wrong. So, please always use your other standard identities and algebraic identities to prove all your identities. Is that clear? So, don't apply your right angle triangle and Pythagoras theorem to prove the other identities. Let us see what our next question comes in. Have we missed out any more questions? Yeah, this is our, I think, our last question coming in. Do we get sums to prove the standard identities? Yes, you may get proof to prove standard identities. So please remember that the same way as we did, either using one standard identity to prove another standard identity, or use your right angle triangle and prove the standard identity. So thank you very much. Thank you, students. Thank you, teachers, and all others who are viewing the session. Hope it was a fruitful one and hope I've laid a firm foundation for the next part of our trigonometric identity. Enjoy learning and have a good day. Thank you very much.